Welland's population is projected to top 83,000 residents by 2051. That's nearly 14,000 housing units that are going to be needed to meet that growth. Now, it's undeniable that Welland is one of the fastest growing cities here in the Niagara region and one of the most popular places to call home. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be doing a full map tour of the city of Welland, highlighting all the different areas, neighborhoods, parks, amenities, and way more. So if you're interested in learning more, then stick around. Hey everyone, if we haven't met before, my name is Andrew Kulakowsky and I'm a local real estate agent and team leader with Living in Niagara Real Estate Group at eXp Realty. Now, my team helps hundreds of people just like you buy and sell real estate here every single year, and we love what we do. So if you're thinking about buying real estate here or relocating here, or you're an existing resident perhaps that looking to sell or purchase real estate here in the Niagara region, then we'd love to hear from you. You guys are always welcome to call us, text, DM, or our favorite, schedule a Zoom call with me, and we will be happy to do a meet and greet and figure out how we can help you with your future real estate plans. Now, as of 2025, the population here in Welland is about 56,000 people. It's a pretty typical working class city that's known to have a friendly community. It's also known as the Rose City. Now, this name was chosen in the 1920s because it was a local hub for locally grown roses. Now, historically, Welland was an industrial town built around a central hub in the Niagara region for rail and water. Now, the Welland Canal, of course, I'm sure you've heard of it before, was developed as an extremely important connection between Canada and the United States. And to this day, we still, of course, have the old Welland Canal that runs through the entire city. And of course, we have the most recent functioning canal, which runs a little bit more east of the city, and it runs between Lake Ontario and Lake Erie. Now, living in Welland, what is it like? Welland is known as a safe, family-friendly community. It's extremely self-sufficient with a lot of extensive growth in infrastructure, residential, and commercial development. But generally speaking, Welland is a pretty typical working class suburb. Now, what's great about Welland is its central location. It's positioned near Niagara Falls and St. Catharines, and it offers convenient access throughout the entire region within a minute's drive. Now, it's also known for its highway connections and major roads. You have the Highway 406 that runs north and south through the city of Welland. You also have the Queen Elizabeth Way, which connects with the 406, which gives you easy access to Hamilton, Burlington, and Toronto. And in the southeast end of the city, you also have Highway 140, which gives you easy access into Port Colborne or down a little bit further into the Fort Erie region. Now, when it comes to public transit, Welland has plenty of that. Formerly known as Welland Transit, now operated by the Niagara Regional Transit. It operates about 8 local bus routes, and it also operates a Port Colborne link. Now, there are additional connections as well within the Niagara Region Transit, which gives you easy access into St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, and the surrounding area of the entire Niagara region. We also have GO Transit accessibility. The closest spot would be into Niagara Falls, which will give you easy connections into Hamilton and the GTA. Now, like any family-friendly community, there are a ton of great things to do here. We're not going to dive into all a list of things, but to give you a general sense, we've got active farmers markets and various festivals celebrating the Welland Canal, the Welland River. We also have the Welland Fair and a ton more of other things to do here. And when it comes to education, Welland will tick that box with various school boards, including the District School Board of Niagara. You also have the Catholic District School Board of Niagara. As well, you also have the French school boards. Now, there are 18 elementary schools here in Welland as of right now, with 5 secondary schools. And of course, you also have the post-secondary options like Niagara College, which operates its main campus right in North Welland. And of course, you also have Brock University, only about a 10 to 15 minute drive into St. Catharines. Now, without further ado, we are going to dive into our 4 map tours. All right, folks, here we have it. We are going to dive into our map tour of the city of Welland. And as I mentioned, I've broken this down into 4 main quadrants of the city to kind of simplify this and make it as easy to understand as possible. Now, to begin, we are going to start with quadrant number 1. That area here I would call north. Okay, so we're going to kind of talk about more North Welland in this first quadrant, and that's going to be in this location right here. Now, as I zoom in here, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a background of like kind of the boundaries of what I would consider, North Welland. Okay, so for me, I would kind of consider that everything kind of north of Fitz Street all the way to Niagara Street, kind of straight up north, right to the boundaries over here of Pelham, and then back down. So like this quadrant is, to me, the most northern part. You're also very, very close to Fonthill Pelham at this portion of the city as well. Now, this portion of the city is a very, very popular and I would call sought after area to live for many, many people for many reasons. It's your typical safe, comfortable neighborhoods. It looks like suburbia. You can just picture it right now, typical mature streets, big trees, kids out playing on the sidewalks, parks, all of that stuff, great schools. So this quadrant right here is north. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit further and we're going to talk about some of the landmarks that you will see or find in North Welland. First off, the most notable landmark would be Niagara College, the Welland campus. This is the largest campus for Niagara College. There's another one, or a couple actually. There's one in Niagara on the Lake, and I think there's some satellite campuses in St. Catharines. But regardless, this is the Niagara College campus right here, and it spans, as you can see, a pretty large area. It's expanded intensively through the years. It's really, really big. Even since I moved there, they've expanded Niagara College to accommodate new courses, new curriculums, and a lot more students. So yes, this is Niagara College right here. Now, also in the North End, you've got a list of fantastic schools, obviously from elementary to high school. Now, the two high schools that you have in the north part of Welland is one that I went to, is Centennial High School, which you can kind of see it right down here. You can see the field. And then you've got Notre Dame High School, which is just a little bit further over this way. Yes, right here. So as you can see, this spot right here, closer to the canal, is Notre Dame High School. So Centennial being a public high school and Notre Dame being a Catholic high school. So those are your two main high schools in the North End, both rated very, very well. A lot of rivalries in sports. A lot of my friends, when I grew up at Welland, were from Notre Dame as well. Some other notable locations here in the North End is you've got some really good parks. This one being Woodlawn Park. I grew up right around here. It's a nice portion of the city. There's other small parks situated throughout a lot of these neighborhoods. You also have Chippewa Park. Now, Chippewa Park, I would consider a little bit more central in the city. Chippewa Park is not only a park, it's a neighborhood that was built around a park. It's arguably one of my most favorite parks in the Niagara region, not only Welland. It's very, very well known. A lot of people are familiar with Chippewa Park. It's really, really beautiful, especially in the summertime. The city of Welland maintains that park very, very, very well. There's some amazing gardens and all kinds of different plants and all that stuff throughout Chippewa Park. You've got a play area for kids. There's a big pond area too. And if you catch that on, yeah, there you go. That would be the pond. You could do fishing in here. And in the wintertime, it freezes, which is great for kids. You could play hockey, you can ice skate. This right here, I think you can see it. Yep, that would be, oh no, that's a big covered area, but there's baseball diamonds here too. I know that there is volleyball courts somewhere along here as well. And then there's like, again, a ton of green space, a playground area. So that's Chippewa Park. Those are your two big ones. You've also got Maple Park. That's another big park in the north part of the city. See if I can catch that. Yeah, right here. Okay, perfect. So this is a Maple Park area. You've got right over here. You've also got Glen Park. So as you can see, there's no shortage of green space in the North End and a lot of parks, schools, and all of that stuff. A couple other quick kind of notable locations or notable sites would be Rose City Pizzeria. This one right here, very, very well-known pizzeria. It's been in Welland for many, many years. This is one of our favorite places to get pizza in Welland. And just a fun fact, if you aren't super familiar with Welland, we are very, very well known for our amazing pizza places. We've got, I don't even know how many, but I would say easily 20 to 25 very reputable places to get pizza in the city of Welland. So I would say it's a pretty competitive thing. Now, when it comes to shopping, that would take place kind of in this area right over here in the Niagara Street area. I'm going to grab my pen. So Niagara Street runs from Midtown all the way down, kind of down to Merrittville Highway right here, or Merritt Street. So this, all along this corridor here, this is where all kind of your main shopping hub is. That's where the mall is in Welland. See if I could pull that up. You've got the Seaway Mall. You've got, yeah, there's the Seaway Mall. So this is the whole site right here. So you've got big box stores. As you can see, you've got restaurants, Empty Bellies. This is a very popular family restaurant that's been in Welland, I think close to 40 years now, at least since I've been alive. It's been there. Boston Pizzas down here right at Quaker Road. You got the Travel Lodge, so a hotel, motel. You've got multiple grocery stores all along here too. Stacked Pancake House, you got Harvey's, McDonald's a little further down, and a bunch of other businesses, dealerships, all that stuff, all along the Niagara Street corridor. And when it comes to real estate and the types of homes in the North End, I mean, there's a various mix of different types of homes, but I would say that homes that were built from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and the 90s really kind of dominate the types of homes there. It's just, it really depends on where you're located. Whereas like if you're a little bit more north, like in this pocket, this is kind of where I grew up here, you're going to get homes that were built in the late 90s, early 2000s. And then like if you go a little bit more south of there, like closer to like, you know, Welland Centennial High School and those, I would say a little bit more established areas that were, you know, started in the 60s and the 70s, you're going to get your typical like raised bungalows, back splits, side splits, regular bungalows, multi-levels. So like those dominate all of these neighborhoods in here. All really good sized lots, as you can imagine. Like you're typically like 50, 60 foot lots by like 120. So like that's why these areas are so popular for like families and people, and they don't really move very often there. They've, you know, it's really well known. A lot of people that are like living in this area have been there for like many, many years, raised their families there. Again, very sought after, and people like love living there. All right, folks, and moving on to the second quadrant that I am going to talk about, and that is again in the north end of the city, but I would consider it more in the northeast end of the city, right over here in this neck of the woods and on the other side of the Welland Canal. I didn't mention that earlier. You guys obviously know Welland was really built around the Welland Canal. And you can see right here, this is the old Welland Canal that runs through the city. And then you have the new functioning part of the canal that runs right along here. So the second quadrant that I am going to talk about does kind of fall in between the kind of canal, these two canal areas here. And again, it's definitely a little bit different than the previous area that I mentioned for many different reasons, like the canal, and there's industrial components and all of that stuff about this part of the city. But I'm going to zoom in a little bit more and kind of highlight on some of the landmarks and things that you can find in this quadrant of the city. So when it comes to residential, there's really kind of two main, I would say, higher density or more populated pockets in this, what we would call 406 North area. 406 obviously being a major highway that runs right through in between both the old canal and the new canal. So you guys just saw that. Now this subdivision up here, this is a very popular subdivision. There's a lot of residential that was built in behind the Seaway Mall and in behind like Niagara Street. So on the east side of Niagara Street being right here. So there's a lot of residential that's really expanded through the years, and it is still expanding out. If you look right here, you can see all of this dirt. All of this land is in the midst of being developed right now by builders. There's going to be, I don't know how many homes, but there's a lot of residential being built right along here and along the canal. The other main residential area that kind of dominates just with regards to density and population would be this unique location right here, which looks like it's sitting on its own little island, because it kind of is almost. Now this area here, if you guys are subscribers to my channel, you've probably seen me do multiple videos on this. This is Hunters Point, okay? So if you guys have seen, I've done multiple videos and vlog videos on the Hunters Point development in partnership and collaboration with our friends at Lucetta Homes. Now this development right here, I just want to show you the uniqueness of it. So coming off of Woodlawn Road here, there's only one way to get into this development, and it is all running right along here. You're going to cross under the 406, and this is the main entrance to get into this Hunters Point, or the residence at Hunters Point. Now Hunters Point has really kind of two components to it. This portion here in the north end, or the north side of the development, is the 55 plus community, okay? That's where the name Hunters Point kind of came from. Lucetta Homes is responsible for basically all of the north side of that development. A 55 plus community being it's an adult style community. There are kind of luxury or higher end bungalows as well as townhouse bungalows that dominate the different homes in here. Prices typically start at around $750 for resale, with brand new development, along the canalway and on the riverside, upwards to $1.3 to $1.5 million to kind of give you a sense of the types of homes here. Now, the south part of this Hunters Point community is various builders. So that has nothing to do with Lucetta Homes, but there's various builders that are developing all along here. They're all different types of homes. They don't fall under the Hunters Point 55 plus community, so there's no common element. They're all just basic freeholds, whereas the Hunters Point community has amenities there. They have a community center. There's a pool. So it's got a monthly fee of around $250. So kind of a very unique community. Communities like this are very popular in the United States, in the southern parts. I know Florida and all various states have these. So this is what I would say one of the most unique things about Welland. And then, so what will happen eventually in this pocket, just to give you some sense, if you look here, there's still a lot of land that is basically developable, and all along here and along the canal, this is all zoned residential, a large portion of this. From what I've been told, you will see homes that continue to be built along here and stretch all the way out to Highway 140, which is basically in the east end of Welland, that would connect you down into Port Colborne. So through the years, you're going to continue to see that develop. You can see where they're at now, and it's just a matter of time they're going to keep bringing brand new homes and building brand new homes all along there. Other notable landmarks here in the 406 North area, you have Young Sportsplex. This here is a big sports facility. They've got basically tennis as well as soccer fields. So I've played there many, many years, but this is a very, very popular place. All along Woodlawn Road here too, you've got a Walmart Supercenter, you have Rona, you have Canadian Tire. A fun fact, one of the largest Canadian tires, I believe, in Canada at this point. You've got also other commercial development happening in this pocket here too. You can kind of see that, from liquor store to Mark's Work Warehouse, and a few other stores are being built. You also have down in here, Fonthill Building Supplies just built a big building, but as you can see, there's a lot of remaining land here, primarily industrial. You're going to see that all develop through the years, if I had to guess. So that really sums up our tour of quadrant number 2, Highway 406 and North. We're going to move on to quadrant number 3. If you guys are enjoying our map tours so far and you want to continue to see videos just like this one, do me a huge favor. Make sure you guys hit like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell so you'll be notified every time I post up videos just like this one. Now back to the map tours. All right, folks, now moving on to quadrant number 3. Now, I would describe that more as kind of central and downtown Welland, also known as the east end of Welland for all my Welland peeps out there. Now, that area there, I'm going to kind of zoom in here and give you a much better highlight of where we're at. Okay. So looking on a map, this is central right here. That's why you have the Welland text right here. Now here's Chippewa Park. Now coming down towards the old canal, when you cross over the old canal, that now officially kind of classifies that area as the east end or downtown part of Welland. Now old downtown in Welland is right here. It runs all along the old canal. As you can imagine, why they did that, because back in the day when that old canal was functioning, it was a primary hub for transportation, logistics, and all that stuff. But all in this neck of the woods right here, this is all going to be your old downtown Welland. That includes King Street, Division Street, and everything else around that. Okay, all down in here, as well as crossing over into here. This is your old part of Welland. That also, the older part of Welland also stretches all along here, goes east all the way towards the end of East Main, right at 140, which if you take the 140, it's going to take you into Port Colborne. So that stretches all the way down to here, back down to here, kind of Memorial Park Drive. So it's a relatively big area. The area entails very, very different types of real estate. I would call this the definition of a mixed bag of real estate here in the central downtown part of Welland. Now, a couple notable places in this area of downtown, obviously there is the Welland Hospital. That is a very old hospital. This is the entire hospital site. You can see that right here. Been here for a long time. That's the old Welland Hospital. You also have the Welland Arena, which is located right over here. There's another McDonald's down here just across the bridge at Lincoln Street. And then moving down a little bit more south, you can see there's some kind of vacant land here. There's a factory being built. Actually, this land here was, through the years, has changed, but Stelco was here, a steel company, on all this industrial land. You also have John Deere, which is a little further down south. I will touch on that in just a second. But all this land now is being redeveloped right now. I know there's a factory or some sort of big business that's being built on this site as we speak. There's also more residential moving south down into Dane City, and we're going to touch on that in just a second. Now, going a little bit more east of the city towards the New Canal, you've got various neighborhoods down here in the Southworth area. Very, very nice neighborhoods down in here. A lot of the homes were built in through kind of the 40s through the 60s. This really was and still is a very popular place to live in the south east end of the city. In fact, if you're looking for some really good real estate deals, I highly recommend looking at some of these neighborhoods here, because you got a lot of just, again, well-established people have lived there for many years, pride of ownership. I know the east end of the city kind of gets a little bit of a tarnished name, but I'll tell you something, some of these neighborhoods here, they're fantastic neighborhoods. And right up in this kind of pocket here, this Memorial Park, there's a park here. Obviously, there's some baseball diamonds. There is some new development that's happening up in this area. I will say, if you're not familiar with Welland, Welland is one of the fewer areas in the Niagara region or cities in the Niagara region that actually still has a lot of land left. You can see that when I zoom out, how much green it kind of surrounds the Welland area, and that just goes to show you how much land is still there. So, Welland is open for business. You're going to continue to see a lot of residential development happen there over, the next 50 years. But going back to what I said here in the Memorial Park Drive, you've got a lot of new construction that's happening all along here close to the Welland Canal. Now moving a little bit more south of the city, and that is what is called Dane City. Now Dane City really is part of Welland, and as you can see just from like a distance standpoint, it really kind of was its own little city. You can kind of picture that back in the day. This is the community of Dane City here. This is where all the residential, all your homes are going to be, primarily in Dane City, without going rural. Of course, there's a lot of homes and things like that out in this neck of the woods here, more in the rural part. But Dane City now really has kind of just like become almost part of Welland. It's I would arguably say it's lost a bit of its identity, but I mean, that's just the reality of population growth. And there is a lot of new development in Dane City, again, because there's so much land. One of the biggest developers or builders up in Dane City, down in Dane City right now, is Empire Homes. They are building thousands and thousands and thousands of homes in Dane City. You can see that on this map. All of this area here is all getting developed with thousands of homes. And then you're going to probably continue to see that even stretch further down along the canal as well through the year. So to summarize, Central and East Welland, like any city, the east parts of the city typically are known to be a little bit rougher. That is just the reality of parts of the east end of the city. But again, I will say that there are some really great neighborhoods too in the east end of the city. And again, if you're looking for some really great real estate deals, then those pockets are definitely areas to really consider. All right, folks, now looking on a map, these areas right here, I'm going to grab my marker. Essentially the West End, Broadway, Southwest, and that is going to kind of span this portion right here. Okay. Now these areas, you've got new development to older homes to everything else in between. Now, one of the newest developments in this area is called Coil Creek, and that would take place, that's all the way up here. So there's a lot of new development, new construction through the years. I mean, I would say this subdivision here spans out about 20 years ago to current day, and there's still new development that's happening up in this area here. You've got semi-detached, you've got townhomes, you've got a lot of detached homes. As you can see, there's a lot of pools here. This is all newer construction. So like you're going to find a lot of 2 stories, space, raised bungalows, popular family homes. If you know, if you have a family of kids and you're outgrowing the north end of the city because maybe your raised bungalow or your bungalow is a little too small, then this has become a super popular area for many, many families because the homes are bigger. Newer construction typically equates to, you know, larger homes. They've designed this neighborhood with, you know, obviously families in mind. There's multiple parks in this pocket. There's also more new development happening on the north side of Weber Road. I know Mountain View Homes, popular builder in the area, is building a bunch of homes right up in here. You can see it all here. I think there's actually already a lot that are already built and constructed. And then this area here, just on the north side of Weber Road, super popular, very, very, very nice neighborhood. All this land is all protected here. So a lot of these homes have really nice lots, a lot of them back onto this green space. You also have the Welland River. I didn't mention that earlier, but the Welland River runs all the way through here. So there's neighborhoods that were kind of built around that. This is a really nice neighborhood here too. And then all in this pocket here too. These are all great neighborhoods. This one being a little bit more established. Now, some notable landmarks in this area, you've got Cardinal Lakes Golf Club. This is a really fun golf course to play at. This has been here. This was previously called Sparrow Lakes, but as you can see, you're really, really close to this part of Welland. So if you live in this area, really, really convenient to be that close if you like to golf. You also have what's called the Welland International Flatwater Center. This here is, as you can see, it's right on the canal. They have various types of water sports, kayaking, canoeing, rowing is a big one there. There's like rowing training centers and they have competitions and everything. So that's located down this kind of the southwest end, just on the edge of Dane City. That's another popular place. When it comes to amenities in this kind of area, you're a little further away. You kind of have the option when you live in like the southwest part down in here, you really have, the option to go into North Welland. I'm sure that's what a lot of people do. They're going to come into this area to do a lot of their shopping or, take it into Fonthill. With Fonthill growing, there's a lot of shopping and everything that happens there too. So a lot of people will go there. Or you have the option to go, east where you've got everything there too, from grocery stores to everything that you really need. So you kind of have all the options, but definitely if you live like down in this area here, it would be tough to do without a car. You're going to be probably driving the majority of places wherever you're going, just given, again, you're just a little further out from all your major amenities that Welland has.
Well, there it is. I hope you enjoyed the in-depth map tour of Welland, Ontario. If you're from out of town and thinking of relocating here in Niagara in 2025, then let's connect. And make sure to check out this video right here, which will give you some insight on why people are relocating here to Niagara. But that's all for now, folks. We'll see all of you on my next video.